Welcome to Season 4 of the Knack for Business podcast.
Question for the audience. What if your brand could feel more human, not just polished? That's the heart of what our guest explores in this episode. She tackles the challenge so many business owners face, turning marketing from noise into genuine connection. Drawing on her journey from luxury icons like Guerlain or Bulgari to leading at Hive's purpose-driven community, she reveals how to blend data, empathy, and storytelling to build brands people actually care about. Our guest today is Leila Rezaee from Hive. She's a seasoned marketing leader with more than 18 years of experience building and managing global brands. Originally trained in physics, she brings a sharp analytical lens to the art of marketing, blending strategy, creativity, and human understanding. Now based in Ottawa, Leila leads marketing at Hive, a professional club where members work, learn, connect, and find balance through innovation and collaboration. The love of exploring cafes and art spaces around the world fuels her imagination and shapes the stories she helps brands tell. Leila, absolute pleasure having you here today. Thank you so much. Do you have a favorite quote or saying?
It's a pleasure actually to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to join you today.
Do you have a favorite quote or saying?
So, my favorite quote is creativity is intelligence, having fun. That's been said by Albert Einstein.
Wow. So I got to ask this question. Physics and marketing. And, that's quite a transition. What made you leave the world of physics to do marketing? What made marketing the je ne sais?
So, that's a question that, most of people, they are asking me that why from physics to marketing, how it happened. So I would say that I've always been curious about how things work in a world. Physics gave me that analytical mindset and perspective. But over time, I just realized that I was even more fascinated by how people think and feel, what drives their choices. So marketing became the perfect bridge between logic and emotion, where creativity meets strategy. That's why I just switched to marketing.
So your background from the marketing element has been the major design houses and perfume. What's it like working with brands that you create world famous, world class perfumes, right? That are high end. That's an emotional side. That's luxury. That's where, the emotive part kicks in. And, most people don't see that. What's it like working in that space?
So actually, to me, luxury isn't really just about the product itself. It's about how it makes you feel confidence, beauty, belonging. I think those emotions are true luxury, right? So during all of these years, I just learned that great brands, they just don't sell the product itself. They are selling feeling. They are selling, emotion. That's why they create meaningful emotional experience for their customers. That's the difference.
You're going from selling perfumes and possibly luxury clothing to a professional community like at Hive. Both great ideas. Doesn't seem to be a natural segue. Tell me a story.
So, after years of global marketing, I wanted to see the real human impact. That's why I just moved to see that, okay, you know what? At Ad Hoc, every conversation can change someone's past or inspire a new idea. It's still about a storytelling, right? But now, what's the difference now? It's a storytelling with purpose.
So you've transitioned from global to local. Even then, knowing what the plans for AtHive, although it's local right now, AtHive has plans to expand and replicate the process. How is that different, though, from being universe to a microcosm, per se?
So, you know that global work is about scale and consistency. And, while to me, building a community is about real, relationships and also impact. At Hive, we actually see, how our members grow, connects, and succeed. That's a real reward. So, and also the other things that I would say is that when you're working in different scale, with international brands, so every decision can be changed in a minute, right? But when you're working in a community, it's a different because you have to have more like, connection, collaboration and things and make a decision based on that path. That's the difference to me.
So 40 years ago, basically television, radio, you were sold at. And then companies like Coca-Cola got us to use the word with, by singing songs and holding a Coke. How do you go from being sold at to empathy? And why?
So it's about more empathy, right? So can I say empathy turns marketing from selling into helping? It's gonna be when you understand people need challenges and hopes, your message is gonna become more supportive and pushy. That's how you build trust. And brands like Coca-Cola that you mentioned, they did this, right? And trust can build strong brands.
So the part I'm getting now is again from the luxury element, and now where you're at, there's a certain level of creativity, like even the design in your background, right? That you have. So if someone's watching the video, they'll see it was just designed in the last 24 hours, and it looks very sharp, very elegant. So there's the creativity piece. So how do you match the creativity and bring the brand experience so that it resonates? How do you find that match over point? Because you could have easily showed up with a pink mohawk hairstyle. You're not. So the image I'm getting is portrayed with grace, professionalism, and style. So that's how it's conveyed. What I'm seeing. I agree from Wayne's response, visual response. He agrees with me too. How do you find that perfect mix to go? This is the right sauce.
So I think data just shows you what people respond to, right? And creativity helps you to understand why. That's the difference. When you combine both together, you can get something powerful. Decisions that they are smart and emotionally meaningful. I think that's a let's say amazing blending from data with creativity. That's gonna be a call to me to storytelling.
So, what marketing myth would you like to wipe from founders' minds so that you could do your job better?
That's a great question. If it's me, I'm gonna to just, I don't know why most of people they are thinking that success is all about the number of followers and like that they are getting from social media. If I can raise, I'm gonna raise this one because it's not. To me, the real success is measured by engagement, trust, and loyalty, right? When people come back because they feel connected and to your brand. So that's a real success. It's not all about how many likes you just get from that, let's say, content or how many followers you have. If your followers get back to you, that's going to be the real success.
So the authentic story is easy. If I talk about, let's say, in my business right now, or the Knack for Business podcast, there's Wayne and I. So we can keep the story authentic. But if we go to replicate ourselves 500 times, how do you scale that authenticity to 500 times so you don't get kind of lost? It doesn't sound like a sideshow that just kind of rinse and repeat, as opposed to it's true to its core. How do you handle the scale up?
So I think by just keeping real story at the centers, because people's journey, their challenge, their wins, if you just keep all of them at the center of your business, that's going to be let's say the formula of success. When you scale your values instead of your volume, authenticity naturally stays. That's why.
So, just for our listeners, Hive is an outgrowth of a co workspace, but it actually wants to be much, much more. You even have 4 pillars. Who ever heard of a WeWork space who's had more than there's a desk, there's a phone? So, if there are 4 pillars, what are they and what is the easiest to misplace?
So I would say definitely is balance. People usually, most of them, they are just focusing on being more productive or just learning more, but they forget to rest and well-being. They are forgetting to rest and they forgot that well-being are part of, is part of the success too. So you cannot build great work from an exhausted mind. So 100%, I would say it's going to be the balance. One of the pillars that we have actually is balance as well. And 100% is a balance that they forgot about.
So when you're doing because the 4 pillars are work, learn, connect, and balance. From the learning side, and from our past conversations, there's a piece where the learning is open to, there's a pay for, but there's also a free Decide for people to come and learn and listen? What type of information, like, what areas are you touching on that you're finding that people need help with?
So actually, it's gonna be in different areas as well. It's be from different things that's gonna be based on their needs and how they need the content to just grow their, let's say, their business or grow their business. That's why, like, for example, because we are that we are gonna have, I mean, one part of learning is gonna be about, for example, let's say Coursera or Udemy. The other one is that how I remember they are creating content. It's gonna be about different things as well, because we are gonna give them this opportunity and this stage to create their own content, right? And share it with people. So the other things that we have is that we have collaboration with different organizations that they can just based on their needs from AI perspective, from let's say cybersecurity, whatever that's based on this fast-paced environment that we are living now, what's gonna be their need. So they can access to different level of learning paths as well in our time. That's why we are just, categorize the learning pro, and based on that, they can choose whatever that they want.
So, Leila, I would say, co-work has been around a while, and the reasons you did it was very simple. You didn't want to meet somebody in your second bedroom, or you didn't want to podcast with laundry on the table. But your vision there at Hive is much more. I want to know why and how.
So to me, success isn't all about how busy the space is, right? So it's about how alive it feels. When members collaborate, grow, and support each other, that's the success for me.
The one thing I find with being at Hive is sometimes, being able to break bread with somebody, have a bite to eat or have a coffee. So do you find that having the at bistro inside that space also helps? If you're, because food is kind of a common denominator for most people, either too much or too little, or or the wrong types. But nonetheless, food's it. Is that also part of the recipe? Pardon the pun. So. Can you tell us a bit more about the bistro then, and like how it supports that space?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are saying that ad hoc is based on four pillars, right? It's gonna be about work, learn, connect, and balance. So how we are saying this, beside the work, we are saying that it's about learn, connect, and balance, right? So we talk about balance. That is one of the pillars that most of people maybe they are forgetting about to have to just to have, for example, let's say fresh food or whatever that they need. It's not all about work and productivity. Bistro is there, I mean, is an ad hoc to support people. If they're gonna have, let's say, quick meeting, so they can have it like a short chat in lobby area, or in one of the meeting rooms that we have, and they can have food there as well because it's a local and fresh foods that they can have experience. When it comes to connect, so we are saying that one of the pillar of ad hoc is coming to networking events, these different kinds of, the gathering, team building, and activity. Now, at Bistro can support that part as well, because from, let's say, only a coffee and muffin can be tailored to just pleasure, dining, and whatever that space on they need. Because, for example, we had this experience for one of our customers that they just asked for the cooking class. Imagine that how interesting it is for team building activity, right? So our chef in at Bistro, he just made it amazing for them, for different group of people, that it was kind of the competition that based on the recipe that he gave them, they were practicing how it's gonna be like a team working alongside the competition, right? So that kind of the activity is, I think, that can highlight that at Hive and a bistro together, like it's gonna be at Hive is gonna be wrapped by a bistro for different kind of connection and networking events and even the team building activity as well.
So you mentioned collaboration, and I certainly get it. And I'm guessing you can't use names at this point, but can you tell me about two people in different industries that had a aha moment at your place and have started a joint venture based on coffee at a bistro?
Yes. we had this experience that's really interesting because we had a member that they just came for coffee. And interesting, guess what has happened? They just came for coffee and short chat with actually with their group and let's say their colleagues. And they when they just noticed that, oh, it's a kind of the co-working space as well, they became one of let's say corporate members for a year. So we had different kind of experience like this as well. We had a meetup. It was almost about 2 weeks ago that a group of people, they just came inside. And when they just noticed that, we have at Hive and also at Bistro together, they were so, excited that at the same time, it's going to be a place that we can work, and there is a bistro that we can come to the lobby side to just, have our guests, have a short meeting here. And we can, at the same time, we can use this space as well. So most of our members, they came through these things that when they've been either for just a coffee, lunchtime, and then with one of our colleagues, they've been like, just have a quick tour for Ad Hive and they've been a member at the end.
That sounds fantastic. It sounds like almost Christmas time, opening the box and going, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, exactly. It's the things that, learning about that as well. I think that we are gonna now, the space is ready to hosting the Christmas party for actually different kind of the activity as well. And also being hosted by Bistro. We are ready for that.
Well, Bistro's even expanded. You're doing servicing in the Ottawa area to other places, so you're providing catering services too.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be either here if they're gonna actually choose Ad Hive for their venue, Bistro can, actually cater it here, or even it's on their venue, Bistro can be there as well to support it, same as the other events that we had before.
In this last 30 years is a lot of people are becoming solopreneurs, and that is fine. But what you miss is you can get incredibly lonely on your laptop and your Ford pickup truck. And I see at Hive and the bistro just having somebody who you can wave to, and oh yeah, I know Joven, or so it makes it a little more real, a little less frightening, a little less scary. Have you seen that?
Yeah, of course. I would say that even by just starting a conversation, they've been inspired for a new idea, right? Because sometimes you're thinking that working alone on just on your laptop is gonna be everything, but it's not. I think that community and building the relation and that kind of the connection. So different things, different, let's say, angle that the business needs. So it has happened a lot to us. I would say one of our member, we just noticed that uh, at lobby, we have someone that's it was during the lunchtime that he was actually using lobby for just for a couple of hours to just coming for lunch and just sitting there. You owner of Asling and At5 and Bistro as well. He just started a conversation with him. And imagine what has happened. Now is being ended to a great partnership and collaboration that we have together. That's, I think, magic of connection.
So the creative leadership, I know from Yoban's side and from the team, yourself and Gamma, there's a lot of creativity in the office or in the space. Are you finding that the creativity is coming through all the staff? Are you finding that the people, once they join in, it provides almost like if I go to grow a flower, it helps if I apply water and some nutrients, right? And it helps it bloom. Are you the virtual flower pot with nutrients ready to roll?
Yeah, I would say that it's a place for actually creative leadership as well. And you know why I'm saying this? Because it's a vision of the owner that always he's saying to us that creative leadership means that giving people more, freedom to explore their ideas, right? So make mistake and grow. When you lead with curiosity and self-control, I think creativity thrives. That's why I think Ad Hive is different. We wanted to actually grow with our members as well, right? With the people that they are working here. We wanted to see how creativity and how new idea can born here. And all together, we wanted to just help to just, to grow all of these ideas.
If you're pivoting, either by choice or not by choice, depending on the economy, What wisdom have you got about how they can keep themselves available and sane and balanced and open to new opportunity?
Focus on what's transferable, not what's gone, right?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I think every experience teaches you something valuable. You are not starting over, you are evolving. That's why.
The one thing I've found fascinating with AdHive is that there's, on the membership side, a lot of people go, if I spend $10, and I think you have a special drive on right now, but if I spend X amount of money, they think, well, it's just gone into the system to pay for membership. If I went to a gym, would be an example. Obviously, I haven't gone to a gym in a while, so I can't use that as a strong. But that said, if I spend the $10, it's not all just 10. That 10 actually counts towards a credit, either for use of space, counts at the bistro, and other elements. Can you just tell us how that's structured? Is it like, is there a extreme light version? Is there you mentioned corporate, which is something, someone that needs a lot of services. Is it just about use of the space? Is there other services that come with it?
Yeah, actually, we have three tier of membership at that time. That one of them now is under promotion till end of December, which is amazing one. Absolutely. So we have a starter, core, and premium. Each of them they have their own, let's say, package, right? Beside this, if I mean, as a business owner, you wanted to just not just start just not just a individual membership. If you are gonna have the corporate membership as well, we have that package. What that means? It means that, as you Bernie mentioned, AdHive give you something like we have a package that we name it credit, right? It's like let's call it let's call it AdHive cryptocurrency. What does mean that you can use these credits for using AdHive services and bistro. Means that with that credit you can pay for booking a space, for events, for even for bistro as well, right? And all of them can be through the platform, AdHive platform. Also, beside the using the credits, you can enjoy the discount that we have for core and premium members. For the corporate membership, we have a package that includes different productivity tools as well that been actually created in-house by our developer teams as well. Also, we have different packages based on their needs. Sometimes imagine a corporate group, they need a training, let's say a specific training, right? We have that package for them based on their needs. We can just tailor the package, actually, whatever that they need. And also, we talk about the learning pillar as well, right? So, under the learning pillar, one of the things that we have is that as a corporate group, you can create your own content there as well, and you can publish it. Imagine that one corporate group, they are expert in human resource and HR, right? So they can create their content, they can publish it, and imagine what's gonna happen. The other corporate member, they're gonna use that content as well. Easily, you can just, have access to different level of, let's say, connection. That's why we call At Hive as a future of work and also as a membership club. It's all about connection and membership and, being connected together.
There's a word out there that used to be a swear word, right sizing. And that was where head office said, no, you don't deserve an office. You're only there an hour a week. Goodbye. You can hotel. And then there's also why, if I need an office 2 to 3 hours a week, do I need to drop $3,000 a month on a lease? But Jovan and the company at Hive went further. I was wondering, was right in the DNA, or did it come out of watching? What was the idea of building a community instead of building 2x4s?
Hourly base as well. So the things about archive, difference between archivists, archive offices and the workstation that we have with different, let's say the other co-working spaces that you don't need to have the long-term commitment, right, for archive. So it's the things that it's been made easy for you for the use of space that we have, it's based on hourly rate as well. So it means that you can rent the office space on 1 hour, 2 hours based on your needs. We don't need actually the long-term commitment and lease for archive. The offices that we have. And also Do you remember that we talked about the cryptocurrency of AdHive? So you can use that part, I mean the credit, and you can pay by the credit that you have, because based on each tier of membership that we have, you will receive X amount of the credit, right? So you can use that credit to just pay for for the offices and the other things. We have this package for our members that they don't need to just, pay for a long term. They can use and pay based on their need.
So, how do we make, especially in this world of AI, how do we make business more human? How do we add more humanity without being unprofessional?
So start by listening, being an active listener, right? When you truly understand your audience, their needs, so your communication is gonna be become more human, and trust is gonna follow them. So to me, that's most professional things that a brand can do and a person can do just by being an active listener.
Does AdHive then allow for the genesis of new ideas, and then say someone comes up with something new? I kind of know what that's for, but now if the person next to you in the next cubicle, the next office doesn't know about it, you offer that space where it becomes known. So it's not a hidden secret; it becomes a known entity. And like any good marketing, right? If you don't know it's there, you'll never buy it, right?
Yeah.
Does AdHive provide that type of push?
So actually, no, I would say, right? Because the things that happening to AdHive is that if someone coming with a new idea, right? So we have this part of partnership that you can come with your new idea, with your, let's say, whatever that you have in your mind. So we are trying to just shape it and polish it and just send it to the, let's say, to the past to be just, done. And with the, actually, let's say, we have at Ahoy, we have these things that I think that's one of the things that is a point of differentiation for Ahoy, is that you can come with a new idea, and we are here, as I mentioned, to be active listener for any new idea. Here we have different programs. Even we can match it with the investors, right? Sometimes you have idea, but you need investment. You need, let's say, connection and community. So we can make it. And also we can, based on your business, based on your needs, maybe you are new to this country, we can find out, actually, let's say, exact program or whatever that can be matched with your business and matched with your idea to just be happen, right? So that's the difference between AdHoc. That's why we are saying it's a membership club. That's why we are saying we want to just, just our members to grow. And we are completely open for any new idea here.
So, question, I've been at a hive and it's pretty cool. I've even had the chicken, very, very good chicken. But if this rings a bell and you want to learn more, either locally or actually there's services that are beyond Eastern Ontario, how do we get a hold of you?
If you're at actually other area, always you can reach us by address of 1745 Courtwood Crescent, or using our email address with marketing at hive.com. I'm saying this because it's a little bit confusing when I'm saying that's marketing at hive.com. If you're not actually at Ottawa, so you can just reach out to us to our website, which is www.athive.com. Or for more information about Bistro or our catering services, you can check our website on www.atbistro.com, or reaching to us with the email address of info@bistro.com.
Quick last question. If AdHive were a fragrance, what notes would it carry and what feeling would it leave behind?
That's a great question. If at Hive actually were fragrance, I would open it with the fresh notes of idea, having a warm, hard notes of connection and collaboration, and a deep bass notes of confidence and belonging. The feeling it leaves, it's simple. I'm inspired. I'm not alone. It's the things that I'm thinking if at Hive were a fragrance. That was the message for that.
I want to say thank you to Leila so much for being here today and telling us more about AdHive and just giving us more information and what good opportunities there are. To my co-host Wayne and you, the Knack for Business listeners, we appreciate your time. So reach out to Leila. She helps professionals and entrepreneurs. The At Hive location helps people generate success. You don't necessarily have to rent an office 24/7. And the bistro also helps feed you and feed you very well, I might add.
To reach the podcast hosts, email them at info@creativeinsight.com or by the website creativeinsight.com, spelled KREATIVISIGHT.com. To reach Wayne at his email, wayne@motive8u.ca, that is MOTIVE, the numeral 8 and the letter u.ca, or his website, motive8u.ca. If you would like to be a guest on this podcast and share your knowledge, let us know. We would also appreciate your feedback on the content or format. Check the show notes for more details. For these podcasts, we like to acknowledge the support and thanks to the following people. Carl Richards from Podcast Solutions Made Simple, a renowned podcast expert. Fred Crouch, who is the Property Wizard podcaster, where Bernie is a co-host. Jovan Strika from At Hive, a co-working space that is more than just a space. Then Melanie Weber, Bernie's invaluable business partner, and Wayne Pratt from Motive8U Inc., who serves as both a coach and co-host of these podcasts. Disclaimer. Please note that the Knack for Business podcast episodes are meant solely for educational and general informational purposes. The information and opinions contained within are not intended to be professional advice on any subject matter. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed by the participants are their own personal beliefs and do not represent the views of the podcast hosts or any affiliated organizations. It is important to note that this podcast is not a replacement for consulting with certified experts in your area who possess knowledge of your unique situation. The hosts of the podcast, along with any participants or affiliated groups, do not take responsibility for any actions taken or not taken based on the information presented in this episode. It is highly recommended that individuals seek guidance from their own personal advisors in fields such as accounting, law, or other pertinent areas prior to undertaking any actions or making decisions that may impact their financial, legal, or other aspects of life.